Okay, hello everyone. This is my Scholars Day presentation on Tableau de Provence. It's a piece written by a female composer for saxophone, which there were a limited amount of female composers in general. And since I play saxophone, I thought I'd search into it. So, who wrote Tableau de Provence? Paula Maurice did. She was a French composer born in Paris, September 29, 1910. The piece she's most known for is Tableau de Provence, and it was written between 1948 and 1955, and it was dedicated to Marcel Mule, the saxophone professor at the National Superior Conservatory of Music of Paris. It has 5 movements entitled Dance of the Young Girls, Song for My Beloved, The Gypsy Girl, From the Graveyard, Les Camps à Soul Size, or Les Camps, and uh, Lou Cabridem. It was premiered on December 9th, 1958 by Jean-Marie Landex with the orchestra directed by Maurice's husband and fellow composer, Pierre Lantier. The National Superior Conservatory of Music of Paris is where Maurice studied and spent her professional life. And she received first prize of harmony in 1933, second prize of fugue in 1934, and in 1939 she received first prize in composition. And in 1942, Maurice was appointed professor of sight reading, and in 1965 she became professor of harmonic analysis at the Normal School of Music. Is how it translates. So, and that's a picture of her. And this is a picture of her. Paula Maurice is seated in the far left corner, and this is one of her sight reading classes. So the first movement of this piece is Dance of the Young Girls. So the first movement is written in a Hypolidian mode. It expresses the joys of youth. The solo instrument has most of the rhythmic interest and shares a few interspersed dialogues with the oboe and flute. This movement brings out the dance rhythms by slurring notes in groups of 2, 3, and 6, whichever is appropriate, and you articulate the scale runs with a round and light staccato. The farandole is a popular ancient provincial dance. It is usually danced outdoors. But this is a picture from my own music, and you can see groupings of 3 notes slurred together, groupings of 6, and groupings of 2. So I was curious about what the Hypolidian mode was. It's a plagal church mode represented on the white keys of a keyboard instrument by an ascending scale from C to C, with the final note being F. And the Hypolidian mode in music is the 6th of the 8 medieval church modes. And a church mode, also called ecclesiastical mode, in music is any one of the 8 scalar arrangements of whole and half tones derived by medieval theorists, most likely from early Christian vocal convention. And here is a picture of all the different modes, the notes they start on, and the notes that are composed of the modes. So what's a farandole? Well, it is a dance, and here are 2 pictures of the dance. So I use the same picture because in the far left there is a boy playing the instruments I'm going to be talking about. And a large number of dancers hold hands for this dance, and a galabette, which is this instrument over here. Just like the recorder, the galabette is a duct flute, so the player's breath is directed against the sharp edge, the labium, by the duct and the mouthpiece of the instrument, and that is what the instrumentalist is playing in his left hand. The musical emblem of Provence is the combination of the galabette and the tambourine, or pipe and tabor, and that is the instrument he's playing in his right hand. This inseparable duo is played by the same musician, the galabette with the left hand and the tambourine, which hangs on the left forearm, with the right hand, like I've said before. And the famous farandole from Bizet La Rosienne is in the same spirit, although it is written in a binary rhythm. So there's other pieces that are similar. And so the second movement of this piece is Song for My Beloved. So the second movement, Song for My Beloved, opens with notes based on guitar tuning pitches. The saxophone then introduces a tender and poetic phrase over an uh, of an accompaniment like a serenade. And I was curious about the guitar tuning pitches, and the open B tuning is an open tuning for guitar, and the piece itself, "Song for My Beloved," is based on the key of B. And the open string notes in this tuning are B, F sharp, B, F sharp, B, D sharp. It uses the three notes that form the triad of a B major chord: the B, the root, F sharp, the perfect fifth, and D sharp, the major third. Um, So, a serenade, originally a nocturnal song of courtship and later beginning in the late 18th century, is a short suite of instrumental pieces. So, that's the tuning pitches that the song's based on, and also the definition of a serenade, which is the style of the song. Okay, so the third movement, the Gypsy Girl. The third movement of is called the Gypsy Girl. It strongly emphasizes rhythm. A strongly emphasized rhythm expresses the fiery temperament of the Gypsy people. It vigorously marks the simple rhythm of the Gypsy's tambourine by adding an accent on the first beat of each measure. One should feel the half note pulsation during the first 26 bars and the quarter note pulsation during the remaining 24. Return to the tambourine rhythm at rehearsal number 5. Again, feeling the half note pulsation in this third and final section of the movement. So here's rehearsal number 5, where you should feel the half note pulsation. And this is again a picture from my own piece. Okay, the fourth movement from the gray bar, les accounts, the soul size, or elegant. So the fourth movement from the gray bar, les elegant, soul size, the saxophone sings a plaintive, nostalgic melody. The piece is constructed in the form of a Lied. Lied is many types of a German song, as they refer to in English and French writings. The early so-called Lieder date from the 12th and 13th centuries and are the works of many singers, poets, and singers of courtly love. So I was curious what a Lied meant, and that's what it means. In this piece, a sonorous background of darker colors is created by the strings. The English horn's melancholic timbre plays a dialogue with the solo instrument. Paula Maurice wrote this piece in an emotional time in her life when she had learned of the death of her husband's cousin, whom she considered a brother. Thanks to him, she learned to experience the true charm of the province, possibly inspiring the piece itself. And this picture is of an old Lied, an old German Lied. So, Aliskant is the name of an alley that ended the Voie really in near Arles, aligned with ancient tombs. And there's a picture. It's the top picture there. And it was built during the reign of Aurelius and the Emperor of Rome from 270 to 275. The Aurelian Way it runs from Rome to Aurelius, and Vincent van Gogh immortalized Les Elegants in 1888 painting, and Paul Gauguin finally arrived in Arles on the 23rd of October 1888, and this sparked the making of the eventual painting. Van Gogh had gotten the Yellow House ready for Paul Gauguin in hopes of a partnership with a joint studio, and those are the pictures over here. The middle picture is what they suspect the Yellow House to actually have looked like, and the bottom picture is a painting of the Yellow House. And this painting was one of the several of the same subject and was one of the first paintings done with both artists working together. Their approach and concept of the same motif, however, was very different, even though Van Gogh worked partially under Gauguin's influence. So I thought that was pretty interesting that this piece inspired paintings, and here are the paintings. Gauguin takes a more classical approach, still keeping the Roman influences within the painting with its juxtapose masses and hatching. This painting is characteristic of Gauguin's synthetism. The brushstrokes copied from Cézanne allowed Gauguin to create an abstract world while still keeping aspects of the real world. This placid view of Les Elegants contrasts with the tormented compositions that Van Gogh's painting of the place. So Van Gogh obviously has more of an abstract view of what he sees, and Gauguin has a more actualized view of what it actually looked like. So the fifth movement, the final movement, we're almost there, is the Les Capucines. And the fifth movement, Les Capucines, is the name of a large, buzzing insect native to the Provence region of France. The saxophone's agility is well suited for presenting the rapid and swirling agitated figures found in this piece. It's written in the form of a perpetual motion work whose continuous motion is briefly interrupted by a short cadenza. The reprise of the theme, played in canon by the soloist and the orchestra, seems to depict the rapid escape of the insect, which disappears in a general diminuendo once you play the cadenza simply and lyrically. And here is just an example of the fifth movement from my own piece of music. Paul Maurice in a letter states, Les Capucines was composed about 12 years ago for our friend Marcel Mule, who gave my husband saxophone lessons when he was preparing for exams to become Faucheux de musique. Marcel Mule thought the Les Capucines was too easy, so this inspired me to add a little cadenza. The remaining movements were written between 1952 and 1955. And this is from a letter by Paul Maurice to Jean-Marie Landex, November 29, 1960. And there's a picture of Marcel Mule. I think it's funny that he thought the piece was too easy, so she had to write a harder movement for him and add a cadenza. So here are my works cited. And thank you, and stay healthy.